Okay, we're rolling.
Cool.
So, my main question is about my abduction, alien abduction, when I was a teenager. That's where I feel everything started for me, and I'm curious, what's that about concerning me.
Hmm. Do you have memory of this? And were you near any water by chance when this happened?
Yes, I have memory of it, and I might have maybe been like an hour from water, maybe a little more.
Because what they're showing me is I'm seeing there's interdimensional or some sort of a portal that's near water, or water is some sort of a conduit. And what we were just talking about a moment ago when we spoke about contracts, um, you having a contract with these beings. Now, what I'm going to say to you is what Eric is showing me right now is the abduction that you had. There was a lot of fear there for you. You were scared in it because I'm getting a polarity of two different types of beings that were involved in this, and one feels more on a protective type energy, and the other ones feel a little more invasive. Does that make sense to you?
That makes total sense. 100%. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Um, so it's like the ones that were protecting you. It's like they're how would I explain it, Eric? Like Eric says hi to you too, John. Eric's been with you
Uh,
for the past couple days too, and he says that
yes.
he's been listening to you and Michael conversing. So he's just
Wow.
saying hi, poking his head in.
Yes.
Um,
Wow. Tell him I said
so
hi and thank you.
yeah, he says absolutely. He's nodding at you. So the way that they're showing it to me is, um, it's like overseeing a project. So you having an abduction is on a physical level for you, on a spiritual level, is your awakening, is part of your awakening. And this is the one that you remember because this was not your first time that you had been taken. This is not your first time that you have left your body. This one is very physical feeling. It has a very physical element to it, whereas in the past, particularly when you were younger, and I'm getting around 5 years old, was more of an out of body type of experience. It had more to do with your consciousness. So this is very connected to your, for you to remember, because what Eric is saying is you, unless it's in your contract, you necessarily won't always remember. A lot of people that are abducted or go through these experiences don't always remember it. And there are times where one remembers and possibly wasn't intended to, but he says there's always an intention behind everything. There's always some sort of an intention, and you work on your soul, you work on multi levels, and you're connected to the beings that will say were protective, and they're coming in as a Eric's showing me like a clipboard, like they're watching over things, but there have been DNA samples taken from you. um did you have like a mark or something left on you afterwards?
I have a scar on the lower part of my back.
Yeah, like I know this sounds really weird, but they're showing like a um looks like a really thin, like I want to call it a probe, but it looks glass, and I can see it being inserted in, and it's like it pinches something out, but it's right into your organs. Like it's going right in. But as far as your inner organs, like if you were to have gone to have an x-ray done or have something done afterwards, they wouldn't have seen anything on the inside. But there's definitely, because I can see the mark on you on the outside, part of that was also meant for you to know that this was real, to know that this really happened, so that you wouldn't second guess it or think of it as a dream. So it's like an allowance. It's like, okay, Eric, he says, think of this as your soul made a contract because you are, parts of your soul comes from these beings. And I also get a lot of Arcturus with you as well. there's Arcturian type energy. Um, but part of your soul has made an agreement to say, yes, I'll allow you to do this study, or I'll allow you to look at this. And this has a karmic relevance to, we'll say, the less agreeable beings. But the ones that were protecting you were making sure that all went as planned, so that there was no harm done, so that nothing was done that was out of bounds or crossing any boundaries, because your free will was the part of your soul making the agreement, but your free will was not intact as a human being, as the physical part.
Wow.
Yeah. That's crazy, huh?
Yes, the protective part is something that I have accepted just recently, because the whole situation was terrifying. But I always had this feeling like two of the four beings were there because they cared about me.
Yes, very much. You're part of them. You're part of them. And interestingly, like Eric says, this goes very deep within you. It's very emotional. It's that whole experience. He calls it life changing and life teaching. But you are part of them. So they're also, have you had more interaction with them since then?
Um, Maybe a month or two ago, I woke up with a bunch of scoop marks on my knees and elbows. But as
Yeah.
far as visually seeing them or remembering, no.
So don't be surprised if in the next 6 months you don't start to have, he's showing them as little blips, like you may think it's dream state. Like and it might not be upon waking, it'll be like as you go throughout your day, you're going to have like a, gosh, did I dream that? Did that happen? Because they're communicating with you. And Eric says, as our planet is shifting, planetary shifts, so are you. So it's like you're moving into this next part of your soul contract. You're going to find that you're going to have experiences that are going to explain a lot of what you have felt over this whole portion of your life. It's going to answer a lot of questions for you. It's a
Wow.
journey, he says. Yeah.
I definitely feel like I'm on one.
Oh, you are. You are. You are. And
Um,
and John, like your energy, Eric says that you don't have conscious awareness to everything as we stand here right now speaking of it. Your energy, the power of your soul and what you are here to do is far beyond your comprehension right now. And he says that as you go through your spiritual journey, that there's going to be like a sense of maturity into what you understand now on many different levels. And you also, he shows you speaking, because your throat chakra, like I said, the throat chakra is the activator. So you will also speak to groups or to other people in sharing some of your knowledge. Um, so you do have orbs that are around you, because the orbs that came to see me last night, or the spirits, are connected to you. So, and there was an older man. He looked like an older man, but he had this like bigger piece on top of his head, and it almost looked like a second head up here. And you could see like an old type beard. And I'll send you the picture afterwards. I'll send you the picture of the orb so that you can see it. He's connected to you as one of your guides. And although he comes through with a human-like form in the picture, what Eric is saying to me is he would be known as like an extraterrestrial or an interdimensional being. So he's a
wow.
guide of yours. Mm-hmm.
Um, since I got over the fear maybe 5 months ago, I physically felt the fear leave my body. I exhaled, I felt lighter. And ever since then, I've been capturing orbs on my security cam every day for about 4 or 5 months. And I have pictures of figures, pictures that will look like alien grays in
Yes.
the orbs,
Mm-hmm.
and video of shadow people. I've seen the shadow person with my own eyes as well. But
Yeah.
it's like when the fear was released, all that stuff like ramped up,
Yeah.
and the connection is undeniable. And uh, it's
Yeah.
it's,
Yeah.
it's amazing.
It's
It's amazing.
it is. It is, and Eric says that what happened is, see, the fear, it creates a blockage in our energy field, and the idea is, I mean, our some of us experience fear or experience certain situations as part of our contract. And like contract is even a harsh word to say it because it's more of a blueprint. It's not so set in stone, but there are things that occur to help us expand. So when we go through something such as what you have, once you get to this point of being able to release this fear, everything changes in your energetic field.
Mm.
It opens up your chakra systems, because they're showing me that your sacral and your solar plexus and up into your heart chakra has had an opening. Your third eye, um, it was open and has been opening, but now it spins, so it's turning, which is going to really start to help you see things in the physical world that are interdimensional and not just beings, but seeing past situations with people, really seeing truth in situations. Like there's so much that the third eye really does. Um, but the a lot of the beings that are around you, um, there are some that cross paths that have always been in the area that you're in because how do I explain this? Um, Eric says not all beings are in the same dimension that you're seeing, so they're not all aware of each other, and not all are completely aware of you either. It's just that you're able to see them and you're capturing them. And why are you able to? Because you're opening up, because you're going through an ascension process that is going to continue. You're going to go through, he says, 3 different levels of this that are going to be very apparent. So it'll be like, oh my God, look at all this stuff that's happening. This is really weird. This is really crazy. And it's going to really speed up. Your energy is going to speed up. But he says, ultimately, what you're really going to notice is your ability to live in both worlds, your ability to be able to step one world in another dimension and to be able to live in the physical world and how to meld the two to be able to manifest purpose in your life as well. Because there's a lot more to you that you haven't yet discovered that is all coming out through these experiences. He says that you are he says you're an alchemist, so you are able to, oh, with energy, of course, seeing spiritual energy, feeling spiritual energy is often, we're all alchemists to a degree, but those of us that are very sensitive to energy or are energy healers, we have the ability to be able to transmute that energy. And so Eric says the transmutation that you're aware of is taking fear and transmuting it to curiosity, transmuting it into something more. And so you're going to learn about some of these beings as well. He says that some of the shadow beings that you see are actually coming forward as thought forms. So he says that if you think about on dimensional planes, there are shadow beings that are actually interdimensional beings, and there are also beings that are, um, think of it as everything has duality. Everybody has a 2 sides to them. The side that we say is like the light and dark side. So
Mm.
the side that we think is dark is our shadow side. And often people will suppress that side of themselves out of not accepting it. And that creates an energy of its own. And so that is what is often known as the dark shadow. And so some of what you see, even though it comes in a form of a being, it is made up of darker energy, which is why in paranormal investigations or a lot of paranormal activity, you think of something as a malevolent structure. It could be the shadow essence of a serial killer. It could be a shadow
Mm.
essence of something that was dark that was done that is carrying forward. So there's some of that, but Eric says that none of that is. It's just there for you to observe, so not to worry about any of that stuff, but you're going to have a ramping up of it, definitely.
Well, Wow, I'm speechless.
It's a lot, right? It's a lot to take
Yeah,
in. Yeah.
but it's all true. Like I definitely, um, when I first spoke with Michael like months ago, just like we're speaking now, somehow I don't know if he passed on the feeling of intuition to me or somehow I unlocked the feeling of intuition during that conversation. But it's been with me ever since. And it's like one of the most powerful feelings. And it's literally been guiding me in my decision making with this subject, like 100%.
Yes.
And
That's
so
amazing.
it is.
And
It's
that's so I'm so glad you brought that up because see, Michael has a lot of ability. He has a lot of intuitive ability, and Michael is also an alchemist. He's also an energy healer, and he's an energy activator, as are you. So you will find that part of you being a communicator and sharing this information as you do is going to activate other people. So what happened is it's timing. So um, all of us in physical form are here to those of us that are doing this type of work in whatever way that we do it. We're all here and we find each other based on our vibrations that we carry. So, whatever vibration we're energetically at, whatever we are ready for, whatever we are open to, our intuitive energy, our guides, the universe will help match us up with those that we vibrate similar to. And so you
Mhm.
being connected to Michael, that was like, think of it as the perfect ingredients for the perfect recipe right at the right time. So that conversation was like having everything locked together. There was an exchange because everything happens on an energetic level before it happens in the physical. So you had an energetic exchange. Words carry vibration. So it's just like Michael reached right out and like the picture that Eric is giving me is like Michael reached out and sprinkled some dust on your head. Like, there you go, dude. You're activated. You're
That's
ready
what
to
it felt
go.
like.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
it
because you're
was
ready
amazing.
for it, you received it. Yeah. And that's powerful because John, I will tell you that you continue to follow that intuitive feel that you have, that guide that you have within you that's connected to your higher self. That means that this area up here, your crown chakra, has completely expanded and opened up. So you're receiving. And when you continue to follow that and allow that to lead you above and beyond what you see on the outside or what you hear from other people, when you follow that, you'll be taken to places that you couldn't imagine. It's going to take you on a journey that is going to be and is so fulfilling. It changes your world. And obviously you're already experiencing that.
Yeah. And
It's
to
awesome.
be honest, I never believed in this stuff beforehand. And that makes it even more powerful. The undeniable feelings is,
It
it's
does.
amazing.
It does. And you have to be ready for it, right? Like, can you imagine somebody coming to you years ago when this just wasn't in your awareness? You just weren't there. You just when you have that, because everything, like I said, is by vibration. And if somebody is not in a place of believing, or furthermore, if they've not experienced it themselves, you can't convince somebody of something they're just in refusal to believe. And it's by the process of having to feel it yourself that allows you to open up and receive all of the information. Just keep taking it in.
Definitely. So
Yeah.
I do have one question for you. When I was born, I was supposed to be a twin, and my twin brother did not make it. And I always wondered if he was along this path, some way, shape, or form with me.
Was he named?
It's a shame that he was, but I really don't remember. This is something that's not really talked about in my family.
Mm, okay. Okay.
I want to say it was Michael if I had to guess, but like I
Yeah.
said, it's something that's never talked about.
Yeah. I'm just seeing if I can get Eric to help us connect to this consciousness. Yes. Okay. So the way he's actually coming forward is he's coming forward as an adult, not as a child. He's coming forward as an adult. He is claiming to be your brother. He's been your brother in other lifetimes. He's also connecting to you. He's talking about Michael and saying that your connection with Michael was guided by him. And he's talking about your intuition, that some of the intuitive information that you get is guided by him. So, not that he's correcting what I said about the higher self, but he's raising his hand and saying, connected by me, helped by me. He's also saying that do you have a friend, um, or, okay, let's see if we can. He's sharing an essence with a friend of yours or somebody that you were very close to when you were a little bit younger. Um, this friend may have had an ill parent or had a parent that was suffering from something, maybe passed away from something. Does that ring a bell to you?
Not at the moment, no. Not
It's
at the
okay. If
moment.
it might come to you later. But what
Mm,
he's saying is, and sometimes spirit will do this, they will connect with other beings or other physical beings to experience with you or to be close with you. And what he's sharing is sharing a bond with you, and he's sharing this through other people. So there may be times where you feel a real connection to other people that feel like family, that feel like people that you've known, which can also be other lifetimes. It can be many different things, but he's just saying that that's part of what he does. um, do you have a sister?
no, I do not.
Is there
Not
a
that I know of.
female? Okay, there's a, I feel a female in your in your in your family feels connected to you, that has not had a child or is thinking of having a child, that may be like a sister. Do you have a friend that's like a sister, a cousin, somebody that would be, because this energy is coming through with a child that's connected to your family, with a female.
Hmm. Off the top of my head, I can't think of anybody, to be honest with you. But I would have to.
It'll
That's something I have to think about as well.
Yeah, it'll come together. It'll fit somehow because it seems to be somewhat significant for them to be able to say that. So,
Mm.
do you remember when you were maybe around 6 or 7 years old? Do you remember talking to somebody when you were playing? Do you remember having somebody by you that you would like interact with, and you may not have seen somebody, but you were having conversations?
I don't remember that at that age, but I do remember I used to think I seen things at that age. Um,
You definitely did see things. You did.
and
Particularly, do you remember in the morning? Because I can see, like, things just coming up, like, when you're first waking up, and also, did you have a basement or a downstairs that you used to play in?
yes.
Was there a
Hmm.
room that had, like, a furnace in it? Or like a it just feels like a separate room that had a door that had a furnace in it, and I don't know if there was, like, another room beside it that you used to play in, but I can see somebody going across, like, across the doorway.
If I remember correctly, I think that's how our basement was set up at the
Mm.
time. That was a long time ago, but I do vaguely remember something like that playing downstairs.
They
Yes.
have, and yes, yes. Because what his energy is coming through as is being around you. He calls himself a protector, and he's also claiming to be an older brother. So um, he must have been conceived before you, or something, cellular structure before you, or something, because he's saying he's your older brother. Um, there was a lot more though that you were picking up on at that age than him. There were other things there too. And there's a grandfather. Did you have a grandfather pass before you were born?
No, they both were alive when I was born.
Mm. there's a grandfatherly like energy that was around you around that age. Um, could have been great grandfather, but I feel more like it would be great uncle, or sorry, uncle, maybe grandfather's brother, somebody in that line, because they don't feel like they're the next level up. They feel like they're in this level, and it feels like from this lifetime. So
Hmm.
knew of you in this lifetime that was around you as well, and may have passed of cancer.
Hmm.
But yeah, your twin brother, it's very interesting. He also, I don't know if you would have the information, but he would have been a fraternal twin, not an identical fraternal.
Hmm. I don't remember that as well. Like I
Yeah, that's
said, this
okay.
was something that
Yeah,
was like spoken about maybe once or twice when I was a kid, and
yeah,
that was it. You know,
yeah, yeah.
I could ask my mom though; she would definitely know.
Well, he's definitely around you. So, mhm,
That's nice.
yeah.
Wow.
Go ahead, shoot away any questions you got.
You see,
It's
you
a little
answered a lot of
overwhelming.
them.
Did I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um. Actually, this is a good question. I like answered. So, my abduction experience. I remember one time. I remember seeing a ghost one time. I remember through my life, I only have like these one time experiences. And
Mm,
to me, I feel that's drastically different than people that have experiences, because usually if they have an experience, it's repetitive. Still to this day, it's like I'm encountering stuff that just happens once. Like I feel like something's giving me a little taste of everything as I go along, instead of completely diving into those one experiences. Do you feel something like that?
yes, absolutely. What's interesting is Eric says that this is part of your, when he was saying earlier about we all are multidimensional, but you have these little bits and pieces all over the place. So you have a wheel in your blueprint that they're showing me that has to do with you experiencing not just one side of things, but experiencing like a taste of everything, or like a foot in different dimensions, which has a lot to do with what you're experiencing and what you're seeing. When Eric was showing like shadow people or orbs or spirits that are not all aware of each other because they're all in these different spaces. So it's like you're seeing right now a collective of what you're experiencing in some of these pictures. You are not going to hone into one specific thing. Um, Eric says that you will start to direct over your lifetime some of your, and he's saying research, some of your research will start to move in a specific direction. But part of you being able to communicate also has to do with you being able to, because you do have a soul vibration in service. And so there are many people that are going to come to you or that will hear you speak that will have had an experience that you have had. And so what he says is, how better are you able to be able to connect with people than to be able to say, yes, I have experienced that. Yes, I do know what you're talking about. He says that this has a lot to do with your soul growth. He says, think of somebody who knows a little bit of every language, that's able to travel around the world and communicate with everyone. This has that same sense to it, so that you can do the exact same thing with your experiences. He says it's like having a little bit in every bank account, all over your aura.
That's a good way to put it. That's definitely
Yeah,
how it feels.
yeah. It's pretty
Um,
cool too, because you're gonna have, um, if you haven't had a lucid out of body experience, I feel that coming in the near future.
wow,
Yeah,
that's something I had never had, but
you will.
wow.
You will.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the fact that you're mentioning me talking to people and stuff and connecting with people is literally what I've been trying to do recently, as far as like just start a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Michael is with me and we're just talking about our experiences and talking to people. in a chat room, and a few days ago, I found somebody who claimed to have an abduction experience, and I reached out to them and I helped them to contact the right person to move forward. And I felt a very strong feeling when I did that, like that's something I was supposed to do.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Being a communicator often comes along with being a networker as well. And so when you're a networker, obviously you've got all of these connections that you're making. It's like having this amazing hub of people that you're able to, this is service, right? And service comes in so many different ways. And your service is being able to, yeah, Eric also says your personality and who you are makes people very comfortable. So you're allowing and creating space for people, and this is your purpose. You create space for people to have a safe place to be able to speak about these types of things. And the um, the energy in the collective. So in many people, um, okay, give me less pictures there. Okay, so when we were talking about vibration and attracting people, think of you with your life purpose. Think of yourself as a magnet, and you're in your purpose, which is communicating, putting yourself out there, putting trust in what you're doing, and following that. It's like that niggling good feeling that just pushes that information out, that knows that this feels right. So that's knowing that you're in your purpose. And it's not work because it feels good, even though it takes work to do some of it, but it feels good. This will continue to expand because as this magnet of what you are activating keeps going out there and communicating, everybody else that is on that same wavelength with that magnet will be drawn to you, and they will come in ways that will just be, you're going to hear stories from people. You're going to hear things like, I can't believe I found you. Like, I've been looking for this or I've been looking for that. Nobody understood what I was talking about. And one night I just turned on YouTube and there you were. And you were talking about the exact thing that has been in the back of my mind for years. That's the type of stuff you're going to continue to hear. And there is such healing because being a healer comes in many different ways. And that person that you gave the connection to, there was a part of them that had trauma and had fear of who do I talk to, like wrestling with something by themselves that they wanted to be able to share or have understanding to. And so you making that connection, that feeling that you felt, that's the that's the power of this. That's the empowerment. That's that's you being in your purpose, doing what you came here to do. And that's you serving for other people. And this is what you will continue to do because it you are so aligned with your purpose, and at your age to be aligned in your purpose and to be walking forward in this with the way the world is headed right now, you are going to blow up. You're going to be very successful. You already are. You're already feeling it. And success comes by how you feel first. Success of all kinds, uh, whether it's monetary, whether it's success in relationships, success in anything in life. Your success comes from how you feel. And when you walk around with that sense, that feeling that you got, you can do anything. As long as it aligns with you, you just keep following that. You can do anything. And there's so much, like when Eric just said networking, there's so many different spider webs. It's like making one thing and it just keeps multiplying outwards and it's going to come back to you every time. It'll keep coming back to you for you to grow and grow. Before you know it, you're going to be sitting there and I see you having a lot of subscribers. So you're going to be sitting there like just like, holy shit, that happened really fast. Like that just blows my mind because that's where you are. You're ready to just
Wow.
yeah,
Wow.
that's
And
awesome.
the me wanting to do this was never part of the plan. Is the intuition feeling brought me to this point. It's not like I said I want to talk to people and make a YouTube channel.
Right?
It's when I think about stuff like I'll have if I have like a yes or no question, that feeling just picks it for me,
Yes,
and it brought me to this point. It brought me to speaking with you. It brought me to meeting Michael. The whole
yep,
process, like I always felt someone's behind me, just like pushing me where to go.
yes,
I get goosebumps thinking about it.
yes, and that's your truth. That's truth bumps. Those are your truth bumps, right? Goosebumps, those feelings inside, that's truth. That's when you know it's authentic. That's when you know it's real. That's when you know it's right. And that will never fail you. That is golden. When you find that and you hold that and you can harvest that, that is your golden everything, because that is true fulfillment in life. And it's often never our path that we have, because our mind is very separate from what the intuition is. The intuition is connected into the heart and connected into knowledge that is bigger than what our mind can understand. And so if I followed my mind, I wouldn't be doing this, because when spirit was pushing me out and my intuition was saying, time to step out of the closet, time to let people know, time to, I was like, oh my God, what am I doing? What am I doing? You know, like it's to even imagine that I'm doing the work that I do. It wasn't part of the plan, but here
Mhm.
I am and I love it. And I love it because that's what I'm meant to do. And so that's, as long as you love it and you feel good, you keep listening to that. Oh man, will ever take you places. Mm,
That there's one time, like the most intense time I felt that feeling was like I felt like I was standing on a subwoofer, but I had a vision go through my head of me sitting down like where I'm at now, having a conversation with an alien that I didn't see during my experience. It was something different, but
yeah.
damn. But
Yes,
it was the most intense feeling I ever had, and I'm thinking like, did I see something that's gonna happen, or is that
yes,
a paranoia type feeling? But I
no,
was in the shower. I remember it was just like I felt the vibrations going through my
yeah,
body, and I froze. And it was
yes,
that experience hasn't happened yet, but I've been preparing myself for it to happen
yes.
because that feeling's never been wrong.
No, no, and that trust in what you just said, that's what will take you so far too. Because a lot of people really, they have a hard time with that trust, with that doubt, with that, is that real? Did that, and that's how strong this is for you as well. You're meant to walk through it in this way, but that trust is so important. The energetic part of you, um, you're going to communicate on a telepathic level. Um, and so I do see you having conversations with beings. And I'll tell you, there's a lot that is ahead in our reality. And if you watch anything about realities, realities are splitting off quite a bit right now. And so the reality that you are experiencing right now is bringing in these experiences that will allow you to speak with ETs, interdimensional beings, and the one that you have seen in your mind that you're speaking to is one of your guides. And so before we started, I knew that there was ET, and this might sound really weird, but when I connect with ETs, I send up a bubble for them. So I put whatever I'm asking for. I know their presence is here. They want to speak. So I just send up the request in the bubble and I feel it. It's vibrational. I feel it start to come down and it's like they lock onto my shoulders. So I know they're here. And so they came here for you, which is I figured was going to happen. And I felt it before, but I don't see them physically. I don't see them in that way. I have seen things in my imagination space, but I don't normally see them physically standing before me. You are going to see them physically. You will see them, but you may have many experiences where you speak to them, where it's flashes of them in your head, and you're going to feel vibration, emotion, and conversation come telepathically. There's also, they're showing me symbols, giving you symbols as well. And I'm not sure how that's going to work into your future, but um, you're connected to symbols, and this is probably because you're a healer, you're a natural healer. So these symbols may have something to do with activating people, helping open them up to, oh, that's right, Eric just said to be able to channel, to be able to speak to higher dimensional beings, because you're going through a vibration shift. And so you may find that even your likes and dislikes are changing. You may find that you're
Mhm.
starting to stop doing certain things that you maybe did for a long time, and you're shifting your awareness a lot. Your food changes, like you might change your diet a little bit and start to notice some of that. Not because you're purposely doing it, it's just naturally happening. But you're on a vibrational, and it seems to be happening fairly quick. So it doesn't feel like it's, like I don't feel this long period taking place. It seems to be very, very quick.
It feels that way for sure. And when I felt like, well, for me, when I did my first interview talking about my experiences, because I always held everything in, I felt a little better, but for some reason, I was literally put on a path to set up these security cameras in my apartment. I don't know why or how, but that's when I started capturing, orbs and stuff. But the second I was done setting them up and I accepted the fact I was going to capture something, that's the instance where the fear left my body. But
Yeah,
after I left my body, I felt like a whole different person. Like inside, like everything just shifted like in a
yeah,
second. It
yeah.
was and ever since then, yeah,
Incredible.
I've been on this journey and someone's pushing me fairly quickly through it.
Yeah.
But
Oh yeah. And it's that's really amazing, because that also shows you how powerful your mind is with acceptance, because that's all energetic. So when you are feeling that push, and that push is coming from your higher self, it's coming from your guides, it's coming from, because us, our bodies are made up of everything else in the universe, of all of the different properties that makes up stars is what makes up our bodies. So our
mhm,
minds, when we place things like acceptance, when we say things in our mind, when we make choices, it's like turning a key. And when you're timed, you're on divine time, it's like, yeah, okay, I accept that this is what's going on. And it's like, boom. And that's how it's meant to happen for you. So keep in
yeah,
mind, whenever something arises for yourself, all you have to do is just say, okay, what am I accepting? What am I choosing? And you will have happen whatever it is that you choose. You're going to watch this happen over and over and over. And you're going to feel literally like something that may have been in your mind for like a couple weeks or maybe for a few months, that once you got to this place of saying, okay, like whatever, you're going to notice that I feel like a new person again. I feel like a new person again. And that's your vibration continuously lifting. It's like peeling off layers that are part of the physical world that aren't you.
yeah, I
Pretty
can
amazing.
definitely agree with that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as you're saying, like the flashes, like the visions, I used
Yeah.
to always dismiss them as me just being paranoid and just having these weird visions, or I never actually thought they could have been real visions until the one time I told you where I felt the intuition flowing through me.
Yeah.
And I seen the beings one time, but I keep getting visions of different ones I've never seen before, ones I never seen pictures of before.
Mm-hmm. There are many. There are many. There are
Yeah.
there are ones that are very specifically revealing themselves to you. And Eric is saying that this is part of that experience of you recognizing some of these beings when somebody comes forward and shows you a drawing that they did and says, this is who I saw. This is who my dream was of. This is my experience. And you're going to have a recollection of, okay, I saw these. Um, you're clairvoyant. So how that happens, yes, you will and do see things on the outside of you, but a lot of times it's in your imagination center, and it's very subtle. So a lot of people think that being clairvoyant and catching images and whatnot is like this big production that takes place, and that's why it gets dismissed so easily. But
Mhm.
really, it's that subtle imagination center. where we start to, and then when you tune into it and you realize that's what it is, that becomes bigger, that grows. So you've got that very much right front and center, and they know that they can communicate with you in that way. And so after today, you will see too, after today, after us speaking, you're going to notice that a lot of things are going to ramp up. You're going to notice a new feeling once again. And it wouldn't surprise me that you start to have more clairvoyant visions and that sort of thing because you're ready. You're ready for another push. So,
Mhm. Wow, I feel a little different already. Like weird
yeah,
energy going through me. It's kind
that's
of hard
what
to
Michael said
explain,
too.
but um, I have a friend I talk to on YouTube as well, and she does this thing where she'll write down a number between 1 and 100 and fold it, and she'll have people guess what it is at the end of the show.
Yeah.
I did it twice with her, and as she was writing it, I closed my eyes and I literally saw her, like saw it being drawn out. It was so faint though, like everything went gray and the writing was like a lighter gray, but like I
Hmm.
saw her draw a capital A like the first time,
So
and
cool.
I was like, that's weird. I don't know how I did that. And the second time she wrote a number between 1 and 100. Um, she wrote 77, but I saw her write 17. So I was like close. I was like almost there.
Yep.
Just one more line on the top.
Yep.
But it's nothing. It's something I never even tried or thought of before. But I saw it so faintly. But I saw it, and
It's natural in you. It's natural in you. So you've had other lifetimes where you have, uh, let's see, Eric says druids. You've a druid. You've worked with alchemy. Well, that would make sense, right? Because he's an alchemist. You have you have honed these skills from the times of long before things were recorded. This is very natural within your DNA in your cellular structure. And so what's happening, and that's Eric's just saying that that's part of why it's progressing the way it is because this is something that you've done over lifetimes. And that would also explain why you're having these bits and pieces and why you're having all of these experiences, because it's like dipping into all of these lifetimes where you've had experiences on other planets in other dimensions, because it's definitely not limited to the physical world of where you've had all your other lifetimes on Earth. It's so much
mhm,
more beyond that. But because it's natural in you, that's why you're having these experiences where it's not something that you're really so yes, you can work on it and make it stronger and stronger, but it's just part of who you are. And so you're just realizing all of these pieces, and
mhm.
watch what happens as you put more focus to it. You're a powerhouse. You're a powerhouse. Believe it. And it's because you're doing good with it. That's the other thing. You're doing good with this. You're sharing and you're helping other people. You're sharing the knowledge, you're sharing the experience, you're opening up this subject matter to help the world know, help other people know that this is way beyond what we have been taught. Our world is so much bigger than what we have been taught, and it's it's time that it is really rolling out throughout our world. And before you know it, this is going to be um, this is going to change how we experience the physical world. It's not going to be just the physical world. And mind you, this is years and years in the process that we're seeing this happen. But
Mhm.
you're in the pioneer days of doing this in many ways. And so you're making your mark on the world and you're doing exactly what you're supposed to do. You are exactly where you're meant to be perfectly. It's amazing.
Wow. Yeah, like the the first time I did an interview, somebody seen my interview and they were compelled to come forward after hearing my story. And that feeling was like the most overwhelming feeling of like happiness that I affected somebody's life in a positive way. It
Yeah.
was just I never expected that to happen. It wasn't in my thought process. I just want to do one interview and step away from all this and not be a part of it anymore. But that feeling was one of the most intense feelings I ever felt of like joy. Like I helped somebody come forward to
Yeah.
express themselves. That
Yeah.
that kind of pushes me now. It's
Yes,
just a great feeling.
it is. It is, and that's what, it's something that you can't explain to somebody till they've really experienced it, because when you really feel that, when you feel what's natural within you, what you have, what who you naturally are, what you're naturally able to do, and when you experience that really making a difference in somebody else, it is the best feeling in the world. There is nothing like it. And that's what helps us expand. That's what always pushes us outside of these boxes and just keeps us going, because that's like being high on life. That's what it really
Mhm.
is. That's the real
Yeah.
stuff. That's the good stuff. Yeah.
Yes. That's a good way to
And it,
put it.
yeah, and it's free.
Yeah. Yeah. It was funny you mentioned earlier about people wanting to talk to me feeling like they're like in a safe space. Like
Mm,
literally my YouTube page says this is a safe place for people to come and talk and speak their mind. Like it literally says that. When you
it's
said that, I was
awesome.
just like, wow. But I think that's important. I think people need that,
Yeah,
Like you're
yeah.
right. That's what drives me. Like I never had this drive before. I don't think I thought this up myself. Like I think it was
No, you have some
it's
help.
hard. It's hard to explain. It's weird. Like I feel like I haven't had control of my life the past 5 months. Like everything's I'm being shown what to do. I'm being put in
Yep,
positions to do stuff. And I
yep.
just put my hands back and just take me
You
where you want to
surrender.
take me.
Yep.
Yes, definitely.
And
Definitely.
that's the biggie. That's the biggie, because the biggest thing that in the physical world that our um the hardest part I would say about this whole path, no matter which way you take your path, when you feel that you have to control it, or you try to control it to create certain outcomes for yourself, that's where you get big roadblocks. That's where you have more suffering. And when you do the ultimate surrender, and surrender is the biggest piece of the puzzle, when you surrender and you just say, okay, I'm going to flow with it. I'm going to flow with it, and I'm going to see where it takes me, and I'm going to enjoy it and just go for the ride. That's when you're on cue. That's being in alignment. That's trusting, because that's a lot of trust,
That,
and it's not easy for everybody, but that's very natural for you to be here.
yeah. So something I also found out recently is so the people I have around me has been growing. I could consider you one of those people because Michael I knew from somebody else.
Yeah,
When I go outside that group to random people about my story and try to get an outside opinion, it never happens. It never works out. I never hear back from people. I like 100% of the time. So I had the idea a couple of days ago, like if you're not somebody that knows somebody I know already in this community, I don't even want to deal with that no more. But that was a powerful feeling, like
yeah,
the
yeah,
community that's kind of around me and trying to
yeah,
talk to people that are outside of that. I get a roadblock every single time. Like it's not meant
yeah.
to happen.
That's right. That's right. That's again going with that, because there'll be times that you will explore out, and you'll push out of your zone, and somebody will come to you, and you'll have that feeling. You'll know when it's the right time to express something to them or share something with them. But a lot of
Mhm.
times your energy, and what you're learning right now too, and because you had that feeling, that's like conquering that understanding, which is saying, I don't need to go out and explain all of this to everybody else, because
Yeah.
wherever people are and where they're not open, that's just a waste of your energy. So I'm going to focus my energy where I know it's being received and I know it's doing good. And if there's somebody that needs help, you trust that they will come to you, or you trust that you'll be guided to them. And that's another surrender. That's just because a lot of times, like even in our own families, it's difficult for them to understand a lot of what we experience and what we know and what we go through. And sometimes there will be a time where people will end up gravitating to us because Eric's just saying when you surrender that, you also change the energy around feeling the need to keep somebody outside of you or feeling the need to share with somebody on the outside of you, which when a person is ready, whether they're in your family, your circle, your whatever, they will come to you when they're ready. It will be set up the way it needs to be. So it's like a worry that you don't even need to have at all.
Hmm. Yeah, I agree 100% with that for sure. It's something
Yeah.
I guess I had to experience myself, but like
Yeah.
far as my family has no idea about any of this, and neither does the
Yeah.
majority of my friends. So like at this point, they're not people I could confide in the first place. But
Yeah.
this all started with one person I met and just expanded to a lot of people. There's a lot of people I talk to now. It's
Yeah.
nice,
Yeah.
nice feeling.
And it'll keep growing. It'll keep growing. It'll just you're at the beginning and oh my god, it's gonna keep growing. And it's just gonna get so big that you'll look back and you'll just be like, and the best part is you're enjoying it. You're enjoying it right
Yeah.
now. So keep enjoying it because it's a wonderful experience. I wouldn't live life any other way. I'd never go back to the way I lived life before. I'm so grateful for living life this way. It just
Hmm.
changes everything. It's beautiful.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Michael and a couple other people always told me like your journey's starting right now, and I'm always like, I've been going through crazy stuff for 25 years prior.
Yeah.
How is it just starting now? But I understand now what they mean. You know.
On a new level. On a new level.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. On a
So
new
yeah,
level. That's
every
amazing.
everything's been great. I not being afraid
Yeah.
like literally changed my life. It's
That's a
like a
big one.
roadblock for my whole life. Like I couldn't get past it with anything.
Yeah.
I gave up. I literally gave up and just accepted that's how I was going to live the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Fear is a biggie. Fear is a biggie because in the world there's only two things. Everything breaks down to fear or love. Everything. So that those are the big capitals, and underneath of it are all these different emotions and feelings, and we have to work through the fear to get to love, but we have to make that choice. And sometimes it's the experiences that we need to go through to be able to get to that. But love will always expand and fear will always close you off.
mhm.
Fear will,
Yeah,
and you don't need that to multiply. So you definitely conquered that because there's no fear in your energy. I don't feel it, and I would feel it if it was there, and there isn't. It's just not there. It's gone.
yeah. I don't feel it either. But also something good is everyone I've met through this journey, all good people. I've
Yeah.
not come across one person where I could say I slightly dislike them. It's like everybody's like good people around me.
Yeah.
I feel like it's almost an impossible thing. Like
I
everybody I
yeah,
talk to, everybody I meet, it's like all positive. It's
I
weird.
know. It is. I remember at one point I was like still going through these stages of trust. So I was like, "Okay, I'm not really sure. Like, do they have an ulterior motive?" Or, but the trust was what I had to learn in myself to realize that
Mhm.
when you're a good person and you're following your path, when you're really working from your heart, you attract people that are the same. You attract that like mind, and that there are people in this world that really are like that, and that's what you're seeing. That is real. And it's very refreshing to be around people that are able to be vulnerable and able to be authentic and open because everybody has a similar goal in mind. We all are curious. We all are here to expand, to grow, to experience, and to share and to serve, to help other people. And when you have all those things combined, a person that has an ulterior motive wouldn't last in that environment. It becomes exposed very easily, very quickly.
Mhm. That's perfectly said. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I was telling, I saw your last interview with Michael. I was like, Michelle knows how to explain things. It's like so perfectly clear where there's no misunderstanding. Like you're so good at just explaining
Yeah.
yourself.
I
It's
have,
great.
I have help. I have help. I have a guide that helps me. He's pretty good at
Yeah.
dropping the stuff to me. So that's my deal. I practice with him every day.
Wow, that's so amazing. I can't begin to think about how the process even works, but it's just what you're doing is amazing. That's all I can say.
Thank you. Thank you. Well,
Yeah.
you too, and you will just see, you'll just see that everything will just continue to just slide on out. It's all that trust that you have right now. It all just keeps coming in new levels. And it's like I almost get excited for the adversity anymore. Like, do you know what I mean? Like when I feel a challenge come up and something's changing, I get
Mhm.
excited for that challenge now because I know that I'm about to grow. I know that I'm about
Mhm.
to come into something new. And it's never about this, and this is the beauty of this. It's not about being competing with other people or um, any all that stuff doesn't exist in this world because you can only be you. You can only manifest what's right for you, what's natural in you. And so you're continuously leveling new levels of yourself, not anybody else, because nobody else can do it for you and you can't do it for anybody else. So that acceptance in itself is like, wow, so what I'm doing just helps other people. And I just keep working on myself and that helps everyone else because what's good for me, it's good for everyone else. So it's like instead of piling on top of each other, it's like, here, come on, let me lift you up. Let me take you up. Let me take you up on this process with me so you can feel this too. That's what it's all
Mhm.
about.
Definitely. I felt pretty nervous before this, but as soon as we started talking,
Yeah,
I feel like you confirmed a lot of my thoughts and
good,
feelings, and
good,
I feel pretty good right now.
good,
Feel good
good.
about going forward, definitely. And
Oh, you should
you
be.
know,
You should be. And I'll tell you, like Michael, Michael is an amazing soul. And so like you connecting and I can feel how good you are, all the goodness in you, just like I can in him. And Michael and I are soul brother and sister. Like we feel it. We can feel that connection. I feel that with you too. Like I can feel that truth in you, you know? So anytime you need help with anything or anything that I can do for you, you just reach out to me and put me on your list of circle of people, and I'm
definitely.
happy to help you. Yeah,
Yeah, I appreciate that. You're
no
just another
problem.
good person along my path.
Thank you. Thank you. You
So
too. Awesome.
yep. So
All
yeah.
right. Any other questions or anything else you have before we go?
Hmm, I don't think so. I think we pretty much covered everything at the moment. I think I'm ready now to continue forward. I'm sure we'll have a conversation like this in the
Oh
future
yes. Oh, we
for
will. We
sure.
will. We will.
But
We'll definitely be talking again soon. Yeah.
yeah, I feel a little energized now. It's weird, a
That
little tingly feeling through my body. I just ready to keep
that
moving
that means
along.
that means it's all working. It's doing exactly what it's meant to do, and that means that you are in the perfect form. You're right where you're meant to be. It's just going to keep going. So I'm interested to see what experiences you have in the next couple months because I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure
me
you're going to
too.
be having. All right. Well, take care, John. It was
So
so nice to meet you.
yeah, thank you. I appreciate you doing this with me.
Thank you. Thank you very
Yep.
much. All
Yep.
right.
All
Take
right.
care.
Yep.
Have a
Have
good
a good day.
Sunday.
Thanks,
You
you
too.
too.
Bye.
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 Oh man, that was that was pretty intense. I think I handled myself a little better than I thought I would. She said a lot of things I've been thinking about. She said a lot of things I didn't tell anybody about. I don't know how she does it, man, but she does. But this, yeah, I don't even know what I'm saying. Kind of, kind of in a daze a little bit. Just, you know, I physically feel emotions recently. It was a whirlwind of feelings, the goosebumps and vibrations going through my body, and I'm sitting here checking my security cam while I'm recording to see if anything's popping up behind me. But it was an awesome experience doing that. I will be doing it again soon. Uh, this will be shared for sure. I think that's my purpose, is to share this stuff. So, all right, I'm out of here. Peace.